Hi, everyone. So glad you are able to join us tonight virtually, if not in person. I am Kathy Deutsch, and I'm the Director of Horticulture here at Wave Hill. On behalf of our Executive Director, Karen Meyerhoff, and the Board of Directors, I welcome you to the first installment of our three-part lecture series. This lecture series wouldn't be possible without the energy and support of our dedicated Friends of Horticulture Committee, led by Chair Janet Mavak. Also, our sincere gratitude goes out to those who generously supported this series. It is thanks to you that we are able to offer this valuable program. So when the lecture does start, if you have any questions, you can type them into the Q&A at the bottom of your screen, and we will hold those until the end of the talk. As many of you know, we have a time-honored tradition here at Wave Hill of show and tell with this evening's events. So I want to tell you that the Palm House right now is a riot of color and fragrance. There's a range of South African bulbs in bloom, and citrus and osmanthus blossoms are filling the air. And I brought a few samples to show you. This is not quite the same as being there in person, but this is Freesia leclinii, possibly leclinii alba. It's a corm that's native to South Africa and has naturalized in coastal Northern California, which is why I think Jillian and I are having a hard time properly identifying it. These are grown from seed and can exhibit some variation in form and flower. But this one here that I brought is particularly lovely with its ombre flower spike fading to a dark pink. And it's sweetly fragrant too, a little lemony. Second ablaze in the Palm House is Pyrostega venusta. It's the flame vine. It was planted in the conservatory over 20 years ago and has endured severe prunes every summer from novice gardeners, otherwise known as John Nally interns. And they sweat not only from pruning in the greenhouse on a hot July day, but because they're so nervous, they're destroying a valuable plant. I know this because when I was an intern, Marco kept saying, cut it back more, cut it lower, you have to keep cutting, cut more. So every year it comes back. Anyway, it's native to South America, and its bright, prolific blooms are covering the eastern wall of the Palm House. Please do come see the greenhouses this winter. This screen here really can't convey the magic that's happening in there right now. So to our lecture, as patrons of public spaces, I know that you will all enjoy our lecture tonight. Qingfeng Chen is a landscape architect who has transformed the way that we conceive public gardens and parks. For the past 30 years, she has experience in both public and private sector landscapes, but finds her public designs most inspiring and rewarding. Since 2009, she has worked as the landscape architect for Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission in Montgomery County Parks. With her leadership and creative vision, they are the only agency that is a 6-time National Gold Medal winner for excellence in parks and recreation management. Previously, she worked at Omi van Sweden as a senior associate for almost 14 years. She has received numerous national and regional awards for her work and has been featured in the Washington Post, Gardens Illustrated, Garden Design, only to name a few. Not deterred by the challenges of limited budgets or resources, she galvanizes multiple disciplines to think innovatively and design with determination and vigor. Please join me in welcoming Xin-Feng Chen.
Hi, everyone. It's a real pleasure for me to be part of the lecture series. Thanks so much for the Wave Health team to give me this opportunity. Your area is on the forefront of design. I'm humbled to be invited to talk about aesthetics. I'm excited and I hope I would be able to meet you in person. This is my first time to present virtually, so I'll try my best. Culture and aesthetics greatly influence the way we think and how we design and experience places. The concept of beauty has different meanings in different culture and contexts. And our appreciation of beauty is subjective and personal, yet our experience and memory of places often ties to our understanding and connection with the environment. Public spaces are an important part of our culture. I love visiting New York to see wonderful public spaces. This lecture is a reflection of my thinking and exploration of how I push this design agenda in county park projects. Before working for the commission, I had the opportunity to design some very detailed and personalized landscape. And in this case, is a Chicago Botanic Garden. And design for wonderful clients that has appreciation for outdoor spaces, garden, and plants. This last project is an 80-acre country estate in the Maryland Eastern Shore with a wall, enclosed garden to fence the deer out. And as much as I appreciate the garden, I often wish more people can enjoy and experience the garden. In this case, we have a couple and their gardener, 3 people, and their grown children come back every now and then. And I was always waiting to see if there's any tour that I can show the garden to people. So in 2009, when my former colleague at the Montgomery Parks encouraged me to join the team, I was excited. I was willing to give it a try. The department oversees 420 parks spanning 37,000 acres, about a tenth of the county park property. Just to give you a sense of the funding capacity, the FY 22 to 24 capital improvement budget is less than 200 million. And that's not enough to even build the little island. So back then, we have a lot of this stormwater management facility. I call them puddles. Right plants, right place, but there's no aesthetics. It's understandable. It's just an engineered facility and with some plants showing there. The tall plants shade out the plants around it or flop to kill the plants around it. And there's no transition on the edges. And imagine have to maintain that. And for something like this, it's very difficult to have appreciation or build relationship with the visitors. So then that doesn't work. So some of the facility just go for just one thing. In this case, Pelican. However, I had the opportunity to see some really wonderful examples. In this case, it's a stormwater management facility, and it's very it performs an ecological function while provides aesthetic experience. It's manageable, it's easy to understand. Here's another example in a bigger scale in Amsterdam. You can understand what it's for and the kind of plants that can do the job and perform the function. I love the different foliage color. Here's another example of a stormwater management facility that's integrated for recreation. In this case, the willow, phragmites, stormwater treatment, and the treated water as a water play. And this is what we often see around here. The water is only about a foot deep. And the kids are able to fully immerse and play in the environment. And parents as well. I love how simple and delightful of sitting together under a tree. Relaxed, unpretentious experience of surrounding by nature. Just a casual walkway, the material, the transition. This is one of my favorite projects. The Railroad Nature Park near Berlin. It's an 18-hectare park on the former Tempelhof railway yard. After the station was taken out of service, nature gradually reclaimed the former tracks and station area. It's about 50 years. The station closed after World War II. The site was donated to the city to become a park and nature preserve. Opened in 1999, a decade before Highline. Yet it's a very different development approach, different culture, different approach. In this case, they let nature tell the story. It's a magical place to experience nature, culture, history, art, and industrial artifact, including all the graffitis. Known for its unique habitat, collection of plants, animals, and insects, many are endangered and nowhere can be found other than this very disturbed rural landscape. I still remember how wonderful it was to walk on the metal boardwalk. The sound, the flow, the feel of frictionless so much echoed the train ride and speed. The dry grassland, the primeval forest, even tree removal was done in a sensitive way by doing the ring barking. My division function is to renovate existing parks or to develop new parks. And my first assignment is to do a Little Bend Regional Park facility plan. With over 3,600 acres, Little Bend Regional Park is regarded as one of the largest and best contiguous natural area in the county parkland. Major recreational destination. It's about 35 miles north of Washington, D.C. The 2000, however, it's considered a hidden treasure because there's not a way to formally enter the park. The 2007 master plan identified this little year-shaped 65-acre as the gateway and a day-use area to welcome the visitors. And this is an aerial photo, and it's very interesting, has an interesting gradation from the highway, rural estate, industrial use, and the Maryland 355 is a historic Indian trail and a major connector between Frederick and DC. And then the open meadow, Stream Valley, and Supper's Branch is a high quality stream. And then the interior forest, the grade drop down about 60 to 80 feet. This unique setting provides a storytelling opportunity. Ophir Meadow is an important habitat, a cultural landscape adapted to the land, and is a beloved character of the region. These are photos taken in late June, right before the meadow was mowed. Really beautiful. And the meadow is considered one of the few continuous meadow habitat in the county parkland. It would be a crime to disfigure the land and kill the meadow. So the design team is exploring ways and how to protect this meadow landscape, how to look at the development a little differently. So, you know, in medical terms, the endoscopic surgery is the concept similar to what we have in mind. You know, the surgeon insert a thin, flexible tube with a video camera through a small incision to perform the surgery in the least intrusive way. So on the left is the concept provided by the master plan. I called it the open heart surgery. I put the playground there. They even recommend a lake and a conventional parkway with trees and lawns, picnic shelter, parking everywhere, versus this approach that we come up with, something respect the gradient of the cultural and the ecological gradation, putting the vehicular activity near the road and just provide access into the landscape and allow visitors to fully immerse in the landscape. As a result, the approved facility plan have resulted in substantial reduction in development footprint, about 50%. Without going into the details, north and south entrance, hedgerow, the main road with parking, a classroom facility kind of tucked under the knoll, and people won't be able to see it until you get there. And site the play area be surrounded in this environment, provide accessible access and connection across the Suppers branch. So the artwork on the left side by the famous American painter Andrew Wyeth depicts the vision and aesthetics that we have for this project. So the phase one, while the overall project is waiting for funding, we receive a state grant to implement the northern 4-acre to provide an interim entrance. However, it's part of the overall plan. I will go into more details. So it's an entrance with parking, picnic, horse trailer parking, and some trailhead amenities. So this is a view to give you a sense. Use the 2 big oak tree as a reference. And there's an existing farmhouse there. And this is an aerial view. The area is pretty much run down. The building has no cultural value. The Little Bend Regional Park Master Plan's vision is, I quote, "Development at the Little Bend should emphasize the park's natural feature, beauty, and tranquil environment, while at the same time providing county residents with a variety of recreation experiences oriented to this unique outdoor setting." In this case, it's not beautiful, but we're determined to make something special out of it. So we started with root investigation. The 2 oak trees are the only 2 mature trees out of this middle area. So we really want to protect the trees to keep the development footprint out of the tree root zone, and also to only develop the already disturbed area. So that white line delineate that edge. And this is kind of the development envelope versus the final plan. Picnic area, take shelter under the 2 oak tree. Visitor parking. Because it's an interim project, we can only surface the ADA parking area, terraces, horse trailer parking, and trailhead. So While fulfilling the required program, the project attempts to provoke the rural aesthetics and highlight the site's unique ecological and agricultural heritage. The picnic area. The seat wall, laid of salvaged stone from an old barn, protect the trees and set boundary from the parking. I invited my Mason friend to bid on the project, and because there are some unique elements, and he low bid the project in order to participate. And he loved this project so much, he came back and put a nice horse ring on the wall. We also incorporated this material, it's called FlexiPave. It's half gravel, half rubber, and trying to allow air and water to penetrate to benefit the trees. Clay benches with reclaimed granite. Nature play. Meadow restoration was a key component. With limited resources, we have no staff, no money, and the site has no water. You know, the overall facility plan concept is to try to protect the meadow and restore the meadow. So this pilot project, we have to deliver. So I work with park ecologists. We came up with the idea, why not work with what we have? The existing meadow, it's a high quality meadow. And in the county, non-forested habitats are rapidly disappearing because there's no regulatory protection. Open meadow is often targeted for development. And they're important habitat for ground nesting birds and animals. So rather than like the conventional approach, strip the meadow and topsoil and regrade and try to restore the meadow, we have come up with this idea of why not transplanting the existing meadow sod as a way of meadow restoration with the root mass, the seed bank already there. This would be the most economic way to restore the meadow. So along the road, restore meadow by seeding, because this area will be mowed more often for overflow parking. And then the rest of the area to restore meadow by sodding. And we carefully plan the construction sequence coming from the more disturbed area and do like a micro construction to grade this area and take the good sod from 2 and do 2 and take the good sod from 3 and so forth and so on. We were trying to find a sod company to lend us a machine. However, no one has done this in our area. So we just went ahead and used a bobcat. The bobcat go down about 6 inches and take a 2 feet by 6 feet and just strip, just kind of harvest the sod and go place it, and then add the soil and seeds among the seams. And we waited for the good weather to do it, because we know we only have one shot. And we were able to restore about 80%. 80% of the disturbed area was restored by this method. This gives you a sense of scale, the 2 trees and the extent of the area that we're able to restore the meadow by this approach. The entire bioswale area. It's seamless. The park has never done this before. No, all we have there is the meadow, the big sky, and that's it, and the view. So we want to include some furnishing that can kind of entice people to appreciate the view. This is the convertible picnic table by Dutch designers. And we also asked them to adopt it to a accessible version. So basically, you can fold the plank back and forth to view in and out. It's made of a material called bamboo plank and bamboo tack, and shipped flat and assembled here. Nice hardware. The overall meadow area is currently maintained by annual mowing. And we have a farmer from Pennsylvania that come to mow and take the junk hay for mushroom farming. And on the left is a sound diagram. And during the facility plan, we have an acoustic consultant. Due to the proximity to the main road, we want to make sure, we want to mitigate the noise. So based on the analysis, this area is actually have a sound level that exceeds the recommended standard. And on the right are photos. The farmer left the extra haze on site. And we consulted the acoustic consultant. Hay bales are actually effective material for attenuating sound, and it will be a great opportunity to this is a great opportunity to engage the site and the land use process and use the material to create a hay bale sound wall to attenuate the noise from the road. You can see as the extra hay bale on site. So we wouldn't have to buy the material. So this is a diagram showing the hay bale sound wall, and they're in 5 groupings and graded in a way so they're like flat little platform, and also designed a way to replenish using the leftover hay from annual mowing. But initially, we don't have all the haze, so we bought the haze. To be honest, when 250 hay bales was delivered, I was overwhelmed. This area at the time, nobody comes, nobody sees. So I was able to work on the hay bale, to assemble the hay bale. We do have a 3D model, and we use the hula hoops to guide the installation. We had so much fun. It's almost a little surreal. And because of the hay bale, we start getting attention. Park manager let me know that there were people asking to reserve the picnic area for their wedding. And the intent is to incorporate this process of decay and temporal possession to become part of the storytelling of the place. And this was all coordinated and agreed on. However, our park management team changed their mind. One day, they just decided about 9 months after the hay bales were there, they just decided to take everything out. I was hoping there's something to sprout from it, but I didn't get a chance. This is an aerial, 2015 aerial showing the hay bale. And this is 2019, so the hay bales are no longer there. We added an ADA accessible area for grill. So because there's not much there, and because we're trying to bring awareness to this area, when the park house was demolished, there's a clump of invasive bamboo. And we thought this is an opportunity for public art and environmental education, and partner with a local art community. It's called Highest Town Mill Art Projects. We harvest the bamboo, dry it, and we did a small solicitation. And artist Mark Parsons from your area come up with this idea. It's called Big Bird. Very low budget. And the idea is to incorporate this dandelion-like birds with the hay bales to be part of the picnic experience. Mark was planning to install 11 birds, but at the end, it ran out of bamboo. So I actually had to go to another park to harvest bamboo. That's why some of the cans are green, they're not dry. And the thing with bamboo is we have plenty. The bamboo are about 10 feet to 11 to 13 feet in diameter with a solid laminated balsa wood core. And the idea is to just lay on the meadow. And the intent is to let nature kind of grow into it. The following year, there was a big windstorm and I got a call. The hay bales got blown away and re-expressed itself, the bamboo sculpture. We contacted the artist and he decided to just leave them where they are, let them re-express themselves. And so we got some cable and tying down the bamboo and do some repair. So the artwork have a second phase. We create a path, a mode path for people to experience the artwork. That's why when you see the aerial photo, you see a path. This one ran 200 yards downhill and caught on the stream. So the next project I want to share with you, the Garden Gateway project at the Brookside Garden. This project renovates a deficient public entrance and parking facility. Brookside Garden is a public garden located about 5 miles north of Washington, D.C. in Wheaton, Maryland. Is one of the county parks exclusive facility purpose for plant collection, scenic landscape, and horticultural education. Opened in 1969, the garden encompasses 50 acres, of which 35 are open to the public, slightly bigger than Wave Hill. The garden is free admission and open to the public year-round. And this project implements the first 2 phases of the master plan, which seeks to reshape the garden's future. The 4-acre site runs between the woodland and the pond, connect the visitor center to its main entrance. The visitor center was built in 1989, but at the time, very little focus was put on the site and the surrounding. It has congestion problem. It's not accessible. People have to cross Deer Gate, walk over that. And this is the entrance from the street. Just a chain link gate. It's terrible. And you couldn't even tell it's the main entrance. Don't even know where to enter the garden. You kind of have to go through the visitor center to find the garden. The garden is behind. There's no arrival or transition space. Everything comes to that point and bottleneck. Narrow sidewalk, people would just like barely find a space to stand. And there's no program or gathering space. This is actually a bus parking lot. They're having a class there. Conflicted uses. And it's disconnected. You arrive, you cannot see where you're going. You can see the visitor center. And where you can see the garden, you cannot get to. And there's no garden. So this was an engineer-led project. The consultant was fully focused on the parking lot. They're trying to fit more parking spaces. This was the plan that was ready to go to the planning board for approval. And my colleague engineer is a very good engineer. She felt very and comfortable about this plan. Look at how confusing this will be. How confusing come to this point, what to do. And there's just no, it's just all about parking. So I suggested to stop. This is an opportunity to rethink a lot, to redefine an entry, to rebuild an infrastructure, reclaim the arrival experience, renew a living system, and refresh a garden. Now the current garden, this loop and the existing loop is not connected. Provide a connection. Pedestrian connection. Transition nodes, and more ways to enter the garden and experience the garden. And one of the most important concepts is part of the garden experience. The moment you turn in the garden, the experience starts. So all the 4 acre, there are opportunities for more garden. So this is the plan. The renewed vehicular and pedestrian friendly entrance include expanded parking, multi-purpose terraces, arrival terraces, boardwalk, amenities, and garden to welcome people. The increase visitor parking capacity by 40%, while also provide electrical charging. And this is the multi-purpose bus parking and gathering space, the loop circulation, and the designated drop-off and arrival area improve vehicular flow and eliminate bottlenecking. And the central lot provides option for event staging, valet parking, and snow removal operation. This is an overlay of planting. The before, during construction, and after. And this is the entry before and after. And this gatehouse is a donor-funded structure. The parking garden redefines the beauty of a common parking lot. The entry court provides a safe drop-off area for people and accommodates visitor centers services. The tree-lined space can be controlled as a courtyard for special events and still support the overall parking. In this case, the grand opening was held at this entry court. Flush transition. Multi-purpose. And the South Terrace area used to just have a little walkway, 2 trees. During construction, and transformed into an outdoor reception area. The water feature delivers a soothing atmosphere, and entice children to play. Very popular for lunch, for plant sale, for gathering, day and night. The boardwalk to provide connection through the wetland area. This is black locust track system. safe and accessible connections, immerse visitors in garden spaces. This is photos showing the sequence coming from the street through the boardwalk. It's an upper and lower walkway to get to the visitor centers. The bus parking and aquatic overlook. On top is bus parking and a multi-purpose plaza. Underneath is like a loggia. Provide storage and shelter. It's a connection point. And the bus parking area is also a terrace for event. And people like to use this overlook for weddings. And because of COVID, the chrysanthemum exhibit was held here last year. The site has offsite, have to, the existing pond treat the offsite water. And so this project have to treat the magenta bubbled area. And this is a diagram, stormwater management diagram. Because we have very tight site, we incorporate different modes of means to treat stormwater. The orange area is uncut, so it treats itself, it's permeable paving. And the green capture runoff from the gray and itself and send the water to the blue and vice versa. So this green and gray is treated to the blue. Green and gray treated to the blue. And this is a bioswale. This is the center line is all permeable paving. Permeable paving, bioretention, bioswale. Photo was taken during the rain event. Permeable paving. And the system is called pave drain. So it's a wash gravel, number 57 stone. And because some area is on fill, so it has to have a liner to contain it. So this is a highly engineered, have a lot of underground. This is where most of the project resources was invested. But you can see everything works very well. This is how easily this area can be controlled and for staging. And also, we try to reduce the carbon footprint. We need a wall to contain the grade, to reshape the grade. Instead of building a concrete wall, we decided to repurpose the rubble from demolition. And this gabion retaining wall is 250 feet long, up to 6 feet tall. You can see the gabion wall in the background. It became an entry feature. We also repurposed the log from the garden. This is a bench and a wheel stop for bus. And during event, it's lifted and put it on the side. The open cell retaining wall. The different garden zone. And we cannot afford to implement all the area, but because the parking garden is involved permits, so we have to plan the parking garden. It's area D. And the concept is to have a monolithic field of ground planting to provide visual relief from the utilitarian engagement of cars. And allowing views through the space is important. And this is a planting study. And the plant list organized by moisture level. Besides the moisture level, the plant height is something very important for public space. And also plants that are adaptable to different moisture zone. The actual bioretention area is only the blue area, but to provide a garden, we really want to provide an integrated planting. So for plants that can handle the different moisture, use those plants to transition the bioretention area. And was planted all plugs. We wanted the roots to grow together. So only a season. We planted about 20,000 plugs and 120 specimen trees. All was done in-house. We wanted people to be able to see the cars, but not the wheels. Before and after. Before, after. Initially, where the garden was just leave blank. And recent, we added a tree. Fall, winter, provide a lot of learning opportunity. People asked to see the project, gave a lot of tours. And actually, when I say doing the work in-house, the gardener led volunteers, school children, and businesses to help plant the garden, and donor sponsorship. A lot of features were realized by donation. This is the bioswale in front of the visitor center. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. This is all the time I have. For those of us who are involved in creating public spaces, let's continue to push the aesthetics in the design agenda, not superficially, but at a deeper level. And let's try to be an influencer. And this concludes my presentation. I welcome your question.
Thank you, Qingfeng. That was incredible. The Brookside Parking Garden is a destination unto itself. I'm sure people go and spend a lot of time there. I wonder if you discovered any surprises about the design once people started to use the space.
For example, like the bus parking area, it was a surprise people asked to get married there. So tents were set up and people like to have the view to the water. And because of the convenience to the parking and loading, that area was popular and people used the lower level for dancing. Another surprise is because the bioretention facility are engineered and has to follow kind of engineer mix, kind of have gravel, have compost. It drains too well. So the gardener have problem. So the moisture loving plants actually are planted at the location that mostly dry. So that's the problem. But the rest of the plants are doing well. And the intent was, the things were planted in masses. No shrubs, because it's very important for a public landscape. We want to make sure the visibility. And we don't want things to grow, entangle the shrub. And so we allow the plants kind of success a little bit. So if something come and grow there, and we look at it, if it looks fine, just let it stay. So we don't like meticulously trying to keep a boundary. We kind of let things success a little bit.
That's great. We have a question from Judy. What happened to the areas where the meadow sod was stripped from? Was that area reseeded? Was the entire area that was rehabilitated covered with the harvested meadow sod?
About 80% of the disturbed area were covered by the meadow sod, and the rest area were seeded. So we kind of prioritize where it's more central, where it's joining the undisturbed meadow. We try to use the meadow sod, make it seamless. And then where it's along the road, we know it's gonna be disturbed, it's gonna be eroded, and then we just use the seed. And it turned out really well. Actually, that's the components that I'm most proud of that project.
Did you store the sod after you stripped it, or did you?
Yeah, actually, we try to write a specification and say the sod cannot be stored more than 48 hours, something like that. But actually, at the end, the contractor, they just strip it and place it. And because we have such a good weather, we just, waited for this cool weather that have the moisture and things are kind of dormant. So in this case, we're very lucky. We could actually do it a couple months before, but we decided not to because we don't want to have the meadow suffer the hot summer. And we just cannot afford to lose that. We just have so little resources.
Louis asks, how much participation did you have with the donated features?
I have a lot of participation. I have to push the contract, me with the artist, and a lot of design feature. We have like 18 items on the DDOT list. We just don't have enough money. So we're like, okay, should this go or should that go? Should we do this later or do that later? But we're very lucky. I participated in a couple fundraising events and we're able to raise enough to realize some of the important feature, like the underlook has a water feature. It was also realized. All the benches, the pots, the gatehouse, the artwork, they're all donor-funded features. And we try to just, focus on building the infrastructure and create a framework. So then other elements can come in.
Maud asks if you also received grant money.
Yeah, actually the phase one, the phase one park entrance was the Maryland state grant, but the park has to put in 50%. So it kind of have a match, have to do the matching.
Yeah. Diane asks, what is the cost difference between doing a paved drain system versus blacktop?
Oh, a lot more. I don't have it off my head because it involved a lot of underground, underground excavation. In this case, we have this cut and fill issue. Basically, underground is like a terraced pool. I can get this information to you. It's been a while. I don't have the number off my head. It's a lot more.
Yeah. Mary asks if the bales are still there and how do you control the noise if not?
Yeah, the bales are not there anymore. And I'm hoping to do it again. The artists say, I know how to do it better this time. And the sad news is we were going to move forward with the project. If you visit the website is not updated. The funding was reallocated. For political reason, the project funding was allocated to another project. So I'm afraid the overall project may not realize in my lifetime. But I'm hoping that we can still do something more to what we have there. And people planted some trees. When I say people, it's park managers. They planted some trees. And actually, from the acoustic consultant, the trees not doing much to the noise. So, but people don't mind. I talk to some people, they say, we like it. It's okay. The noise is okay. So it's just the way it is. So if you go there, don't be disappointed. And this project was meant for interim to bring awareness and also to kind of like a pilot project to experiment. So we try to test out different things and use the material that we have, the bamboo, the hay, and not costing a lot.
Yeah, that gabion wall is beautiful.
Thank you.
Mountaintop Arboretum asks, how was the area managed where the sod was taken from?
Oh, it's just annual mowing. Oh, the sod was taken from, they were from the road because the construction, the entrance was the last part to be constructed. So it's coming from the farmhouse. So it's kind of like a rotating. So we don't take everything and leave it blank. So it's like taking a little bit. So, yeah. So by seeding, I think the answer is like we didn't actually leave a lot of bare ground. And where it's disturbed and bare, we seeded. And we prioritized where to seed and where to sod.
And in some instances where you took the sod, that became a roadway or some
or program area.
Right. Are the garden areas irrigated via automated irrigation systems?
Yeah, the garden is irrigated, and we only use it when it's really, really hot and dry. Most of the plants are doing well. It is a little bit of succession going on. And interestingly, some people like to back into the plants. That seems that's unexpected. We expect people to park forward, head in parking, but some people back in. So they kind of, damage the plants. And some area people trample. So we have those to take care of. So we try to, I still work closely with the gardener to try to keep things up. And those areas that's too dry for the moisture loving plants.
So Patty asks, what kind of maintenance is required and who does it?
We have a gardener that's in charge of this 4-acre garden and volunteers.
And do you revisit and consult
all the
with
time,
gardener?
all the time.
Yeah. And
All the time, yeah. We also have other project going on, so I go there quite a lot. That's why I have a lot of photos. And interestingly, looking at this photo, at the end of the project, I even have people ask, did you guys build that new visitor center? Is it no? It's because how the surrounding look different. People thought that's new.
Yeah. Maureen asks, the plant palette is aesthetically pleasing. Are these plantings entirely native?
They're mostly native with some adaptive, because Brookside Garden was not all native. So, and the mission of Brookside Garden is kind of a little display and demonstration. So we are not limited to all native, but we try to use mostly native.
Patty asks, where does your love of natural landscapes come from?
I think, you know, a lot of I grew up in Taiwan, and but I don't have the opportunity to be close to nature that much. And I would say this passion is really a coincidence when I visited a Little Bennett, my first assignment. And also after I visited this railroad nature park in Germany, I was just so thrilled. I was so inspired to come back to America. I wanted to do something special.
Yeah, and you did. You've accomplished that for sure. Another one from Rebecca is, thank you. This was so inspiring. Can you talk a bit about anticipated future maintenance?
For the public garden, for Brookside Gardens?
Yeah.
Or what? Yeah, for Brookside Gardens, we have a full-time gardener in charge. And I just continue to work with her and to make refinements. And so we did lost some trees, and because it was not planted at the right time, and just kind of ongoing. And in this case, very lucky because this is a public garden and have gardeners. And we also have a Pope Farm nursery. MNCPPC have our own nursery. So we're able to kind of grow our own plants and test something out ourselves. As for the meadow, it's just annual mowing.
Did you grow the plugs?
No, we didn't grow the plugs initially because there's so many, we don't have that kind of capacity.
Yeah.
So we contract growed it, and we also work with some nursery, and they were very nice to kind of give us a discount to support the project. So we get help from, you know, all the different ways.
Great. One more is from Sandra. How did you initiate and formalize the new relationships and partnerships along the way? For example, with the local farmer who mows the hay, the team who helps install the meadow sod, and the artist.
Yeah, actually, we work closely with the park team. Every project we have formed a park team, and our park manager, they're there all the time. They know people there, they know the community. And the highest town mill, our project is actually was brought in by the park manager. And also the farmer that's contracted to mow the hay, it's been like that for years. So there's already things going on. And always collaborate, always reach out to people to get help.
And then, you know, with that collaboration, I wonder if you encountered any pushback from either current park employees when you first arrived and proposed changes to the traditional park master plan.
Yeah, we had to really negotiate and nicely fought for not putting the parking lot right at the trailhead and say it's okay to park and walk to the trailhead. And we had to fight about that because people are just so used to parking need to be right there and need to be so convenient. And so this idea of to go there to hike, so it's okay to hike to the trailhead. This concept at the end, the park manager was like promoting this idea at the end.
You won them over.
Right. But then, you know, like the hay bales, they were so worried. They were like, one day we had a meeting, 10 people were there. And they were like, we don't understand. What's this? We don't understand. And they just, you know, but, you know, I did coordinate. Sometimes people just, you know, different mindset. And I was just trying to, you know, test something out and to try to engage with the site's land use process and to do something special and to bring awareness to the project. So
you certainly achieved that. And
so
I thank you. Thank you so much, Ching Feng.
Sorry, I went over the time a little more.
Yeah, very inspiring. And I hope to make it down there soon, as I'm sure a lot of our participants do tonight. So we also have someone asking for a plant list. So if you have that, maybe you can email that to me and we can get that out to the viewers.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I know I'm talking with a very sophisticated group of audience. So I love New York. I love your area. So thank you for having me.
We hope to see you here at Wave Hill. Yeah. And that goes for all of you too out there. Our next talk is in February with James Golden. And that will also be a good one. All right, thank you.